guys! So I'm just doing a little chatty video about my time in Santa Marta area. Now I just made a video about Minca in Colombia, Santa Marta, Colombia, sorry. And I was with a English guy and a German guy. And then I said goodbye to the South Korean girl, and then we're all going to split up for a week or so because we had different plans and different time schedules. That was the one thing. I had a limited time, whereas everyone else had to be back by a certain amount of time back home. So I went to Santa Marta. I flew. It was the one leg of the trip that I flew, because it was just cheaper to fly in Colombia than it was to take the bus, and plus it was a lot easier. So I flew from Minca to Santa Marta, and then I had a few days to kill. So the first day I got in really late in Santa Marta, and I took the local bus. Like, I was gonna take a taxi because I was nervous, but then when I got to the airport, it was like 10 p.m. at night, and there was the bus there. So I was like, okay, I'll just take the bus, and wherever it drops me off, I'll take a taxi from there because it'd be cheaper. So I took the bus, and I told the bus driver where I was trying to go, and he's like, okay. So he told me where to get off, and I chose this hostel that was like really nice, but it was kind of like in a neighborhood, so it was like this dark neighborhood, and I was like kind of freaked out because there's no taxis around. But a 15-year-old Colombian kid got off with me, and the bus driver instructed him to walk me to my hostel, and he was a really sweet little kid. So I ended up not needing to take a taxi, but the whole time I was completely planning on taking a taxi. But they were just so helpful that I didn't need to. It's also a lot hotter up in northern Colombia, so I was kind of sweating. But the hostel I stayed at was this old like cartel house, and they kept, like, when I took the tour in Medellin, the Pablo Escobar tour, they're like, the cartel would stash like gold and stuff in the walls and all this stuff. So they told us, if you ever find any money or diamonds or gold, get out of Colombia as fast as you can, because you'll like basically get murdered or thrown in jail if they find you with this stuff. So it was like, take the money and run. That's what they told me to do. But I mean, I wasn't going around looking through the walls, but it was this really nice hostel because it was an ex-cartel house. It was a little bit out of the way for everything. It was just in this neighborhood, but it was a really quaint hostel. So I decided I had a few days to kill because I was going to go to Carnival in Colombia, which is the second largest. So I was kind of just waiting for that and waiting for my friends to meet up to me. Because they both, the German guy and the English guy, went to Cartagena, and then I went to straight to Santa Marta. So I went up to Minca in the jungle. This is I don't want to say less than an hour or two away from Santa Marta, and it's just this pretty little jungle town. You can go like rafting, you can do tubing down the river, but I stayed the first night. Well, to get there, you have to take this really sketchy, like, colectivo, and you get in, and it's like this car that's not even marked. It's just owned by the guy. It's rusting over, and you're like, I'm gonna get kidnapped. But luckily, there was another foreigner girl that was with me in the same car, and she's like, I've done this before. This is how you get there. Like, this isn't weird. Like, it looks weird, but this is how you get to Minca. I'm like, okay. And so she was staying at this place called Oscar's, but I had already reserved a night in this other place. So I told her, I was like, I might, because I only reserved one night, so I was like, I might come the second night to Oscar's. So the first night, to get there, like, all the hotels and hostels are kind of far away, like walking wise. And I'd left my main pack back in the hostel in Santa Marta. So I went up so I had to climb another hill with my pack and stuff, but it was this tree house that they had. It was this like cabin with really cool like beds and stuff, so it was cool to like be there for a night. But I was rather chilly at night, but I didn't mind it. But I kind of just wanted to go to Oscar's the next day because this other girl said that she was staying at Oscar's, so I was like, okay. So the next night, I checked out the one hotel and she told me where Oscar's was, so I went to Oscar's and she was there, and there's a bunch of other people. And Oscar's is like a really, not a good kept secret, it's like a secret because he doesn't advertise. If you stay there, he'll give you like a little piece of paper with his name, Oscar's Place in Minca, and then it's just word of mouth to like get there. And he didn't have any beds left, and it was my first time staying in a hammock, but I loved it. Like, I love sleeping in a hammock. For some reason, I sleep in a hammock better than I sleep in a bed, which is good to find out because it's a lot cheaper to sleep in hammocks. And I've been kind of avoiding it since then, or from till that moment. But then after that, I always chose to sleep in a hammock. But it's this really cute place. He has little dogs everywhere, and the best view of Santa Marta. And I just kind of chilled out there in the jungle for a few days. And there's some waterfalls that you can go to. I just kind of hiked during the day and then chilled out like in my hammock during the night. My hammock was located like in the middle of his living room, so that was a little funny. But yeah, it was a great little town in the middle of the jungle. So then I went back to Santa Marta, where I met up with my friends at a hostel in Santa Marta. It was right downtown, right next to the beach. I never did end up going to the beach in Santa Marta. We ended up going to, so now I'm back with the British guy and the German guy. And we went to Tayrona National Park, which I'll probably do a whole separate video on Tayrona National Park. And then we went to Carnival. And Carnival, Carnival is like 2 hours away from Santa Marta in Barranquilla. But we just couldn't find any hostels that were open. A lot of people couch surf, but we just decided to stay in Santa Marta, take the bus in and take the bus back. So we went, and you have to pay to see the parade, and like, I don't know, I would have paid, but everyone I was with didn't really want to pay, so we just kind of watched from the sidelines. Pickpocketers were everywhere. I saw a number of people getting arrested for pickpocketing. I saw other foreigners like being like, why was your hand, like, obviously no one had stuff in their pockets because we were told that we were gonna get pickpocketed, so no one had anything available on them, but like other foreigners like felt people in their pockets. But the parade was nice. We didn't get a really good view because we were kind of behind the stands. The atmosphere was good. The only thing is, like, we had to take the bus back really early because it was the last bus of the night, which was kind of lame. I think that the German guy and the English guy spent like the night there or something, or they spent longer than I did. I went back earlier, but overall Carnival was pretty cool. I've never experienced Carnival before, so I think it'd be better if I would have like went into the stands. Santa Marta was a cool town. I kind of stationed myself in Santa Marta and then went out and did stuff around Santa Marta. If you want to do the jungle trek, Santa Marta is where you're gonna do it. I went and I had like a budget, and I wanted to do there's 3 things I was gonna do, but my budget would only allow me to do 2. So the 3 was sail from Colombia to Panama, and that was like $600. And then scuba lessons are really cheap in Colombia. It's just right out of Santa Marta. And that was like $300. And then this jungle trek was like $300. So I told myself I could do 2 out of 3. So I eliminated the jungle trek because I had already done the Inca Trail. And also someone was telling me that, I don't know how true this is, but they were saying that some of the money for the trek, the $300 that you pay, goes to bribing off the the gangs and the cartel and stuff that are on the trail. So because people have been kidnapped on this trail and all this stuff, and I didn't want my money going to that, so that's kind of determined. So I did get scuba certified, which I will talk about in another video. But yeah, Santa Marta, oh, I just love Santa Marta. So my next videos, I'll do two separate ones. I'll do one on scuba diving and then one on Tayrona National Park. So, yeah. Bye guys.